Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Lifting Things podcast. Say what's up, boys.
How's it going?
And we have a new guest today, Victoria Tennant. Did I say your last name right? Tennant.
Yes.
Tennant. You're all the way from San Diego.
Yes, that's the right way to say it.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
I know we were speaking a little bit before about how you do love listening to podcasts, but you've never done one. This is your first one. What?
Yes, I do love listening to them, especially road trips. I'm about to drive up to Northern California in a few days, so definitely maybe I'll listen to your guys' podcast, get some education going, keep the learning going.
What are you doing what are you going to Northern California for?
I'm just heading back home, actually. Like, my parents live there, so.
I thought you were from Taiwan.
Well, I lived in Taiwan, but, I'm not originally from there.
No way, you lived in Taiwan? Yeah, she's from
I grew up kind of in China, but I'm not Asian.
Really?
I'm from California originally, but.
Where did you grow up in China?
So, I moved to Beijing in middle school, and then for high school, I lived in Hong Kong and Taipei.
Do you speak Mandarin or Cantonese?
I do. I used to be really good, but yeah, I used to have to speak it with my friends. Now it's harder to keep up, but.
I know it's putting you on the spot. Can you say something though?
Yeah, I can say something. Okay.
你好吗？
你叫什么名字？你是加拿大人吗？ I said, are you Canadian?
你是加拿大人？
加拿大人。
你家是加拿大人。You did teach me one word. 谢谢。
Yeah.
Is that thank you?
No, you
That's
taught
the
me
most
how to
useful.
say water. I forget how to say.
Shui.
We have to go.
Shui.
I took one class of Duolingo in Chinese, and that's all I learned. Shui.
Honestly, what I did realize is, because I was actually traveling Europe this past few months, and in China they're so friendly about foreigners learning Chinese, and they're so helpful. I just felt in Europe, for example in France, if you try to speak French, they're not as helpful. In China, literally you can have the worst Chinese ever, but
no, France is even if you do speak French, they're not
very
helpful.
Just not friendly.
They don't like people.
Literally, I hate to say this, but I really prefer Asia over Europe. It's just they're so friendly there.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, so much more diverse culture. I find in Asia, you'll go to
I wouldn't say so.
No.
There's a lot of cultural diversities in Europe,
but I would say more so in Asia. I am.
It's much more diverse than in Europe.
There's also many more countries, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's just different. I still haven't been to Canada though, so that's the next place definitely on my list.
Really?
Yeah, I've never been.
You go to Vancouver, you're so close. I mean, definitely not now.
I know. Well, I just really want to go to Toronto. All my favorite artists are from Toronto.
Well, you think you'll walk by them?
Definitely.
You'll just be downtown Toronto. Oh, yo, what's up, Drake?
Just see him in the streets.
Exactly.
I can imagine.
Talk to him, marry him, maybe. Who knows? There's a nervous laugh. You're like, I wish.
Yeah, the awkward laugh.
All right. So, okay, let's get into this.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you doing right now, during COVID-19?
During COVID, I've actually, so I don't know how you guys are feeling, but half the time I'm absolutely loving it, and then half the time I'm going crazy. But I think during half the time I've been loving it, I've really enjoyed getting to read more books and have more time to work out and just relax and stuff. So it's definitely been nice because I used to love reading all the time. As a kid, I was kind of nerdy. I love to read. And then when you get in school and you get busy, you just don't read anymore. So I've had a lot of fun with that. And if you guys have any book recommendations, let me know.
What kind of books do you like to read?
Actually, recently, like, I've gotten really into like spiritual books.
Okay.
Like, I'm religious myself, but then I'm also really into like self-development and spiritual like books. So like I've been reading a lot about like manifesting and like the law of attraction. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah. Isn't there a book called The Law of Attraction, one specific one that's like super, super famous?
Well, the one I read is called The Secret.
No. Not
Who's it
familiar with
by?
that.
I don't know who it's by, but that one's really popular, but I'm sure there's more out there. But
If you really like those spiritual topics, check out a guy named Eckhart Tolle. He's
oh,
usually
I've read all of his books pretty
right,
much.
Eckhart Tolle. Yeah, I
Like The
remember.
Power of Now and all that.
I just haven't gotten into him as much. Like I used to like him a lot, but then I kind of phased out of it. You know, he kind of phases him. So yeah, but he's cool. Like he has some interesting thoughts.
No, it's so true because it's like if you think about it, like people, for example, that are super successful, like they could be very unhappy, and people like, I guess, in my opinion, this sounds super basic, but I feel like happiness and like personal joy is like all a choice, and it all comes within and like how you see your surroundings. So it's like a lot of people, they just wait and they're like never happy because they're always like waiting for the next thing to happen, or like, and then once that thing happens, they're still unhappy because they want more. So I think that's really important.
No, I
Not basic at all. That's very true.
It's kind of like a separate muscle, like being like learning to be happy. And I mean, you know, people have their monetary or whatever other goals they have. It's like two different things. It's not
mindfulness.
you kind of have to develop, like learn how to treat yourself and like talk to yourself. No.
Exactly. So that's kind of the whole concept of like the law of attraction is like your thoughts literally become your life. So if you're the type of person that you're like, oh, I'm a loser, like I'm ugly, I hate my life, then that's kind of like what you see. But if you're the type of person and you're always like, I'm successful, you're always like looking for opportunity and like, you know, it's going to happen, then like, it's going to be more drawn to you.
Yeah, it's
so
like
I think
a
it
glass
is
half
true,
full.
but then also I think it takes like personal, like you have to act on opportunity. So it's not just going to come to you, but I think like keeping your eye open for it instead of just like looking for the negative things.
Definitely. It's kind of like the basic quote, like look at life as a glass half full, not half empty.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so true. It's what you feed your brain, which is negativity or positivity, is what you're gonna have your life surrounded by. If you're constantly thinking negative, it's hard to ever really see any positivity in your life at all.
Exactly. And like another point on top of that is like no one can bring you happiness. Like whether it's like your friends, your family, the person you're dating, like you can't expect them to make you happy. I think you really have to be happy on your own, and then they can add to that, but like you can't put pressure of that on someone else or something else.
Definitely.
So,
It definitely has a negative effect on relationships. It's probably relationships that fizzle out are probably ones that there's too much of an emphasis on that. You expect too much from your partner.
right, like codependency is definitely a thing. I know I've been in like a relationship before where it's like your happiness kind of depends on that person, and like whether it's a good day with them, like if you're having a fight you're unhappy, but like if it's good with them you're happy, and that's not really a way to live, and that's not really fair to them. So
No, definitely not. That's like not a shitty relationship, but it definitely, like, yes, you can have your ups and downs with a certain person, but
Yeah,
you
it's
don't
unhealthy.
want to be completely dependent over one.
yes, exactly.
So what book are you reading right now?
So right now, let's see, I'm reading one called The Untethered Soul, which I do like. That's more about like, it's not about manifestation, unfortunately, but it was like a recommendation. I actually have this list of like this entrepreneur that I follow, and it's like a bunch of different recommendations. I'm kind of working through that list right now, but The Untethered Soul is kind of like if you think of yourself as like a water bottle and like, well, no. Okay, that was a weird analogy, but like think of yourself, it's like, are you gonna let yourself get affected by your circumstance, or are you just gonna like not, if that makes sense? So like if something bad happens to you, are you gonna let that like make your whole day like unhappy, or are you just gonna move on? So anyways, it's kind of good, but it's a little cheesy.
It's kind of like It's what's that? There was this video who the guy kind of puts your day into monetary value. So you start every day with $84,000, right?
Mhm.
And let's say someone took $10 away from you, which is, let's say someone ruined 10 minutes of your day. Are you gonna let them take the rest of your money? No, you're gonna move on and you still have the rest of the money left.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. I'm really not good at explaining things, so that helped. Like,
No, it's okay. You did a good job. We're all on the same page.
You're like, I'm on a podcast
Right.
and I have to explain stuff. Shit, what do I do?
I am a water bottle.
that's
Mike,
why I have you guys.
edit
Like,
me
I
into a
have a
water
lot
bottle
of thoughts, but sometimes it's hard getting those thoughts into words.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta take a pause and learn, like, figure out
But-
how.
No, exactly. But what I did really want to talk to you guys about today too, because I have questions for you guys.
You have questions for us.
Just, what I wanted to ask you guys about is just tips for staying fit during quarantine, because it's a struggle.
Oh yeah.
You have a whole gym though.
Well, that's like my neighbor's gym. And also it's hard just getting out of the house and getting to the gym. That's like half the battle.
That's true.
Yeah.
Motivation is like at an all-time low for
Right. I think
me.
it's really motivation is like,
I think one of the biggest thing is people forget that, usually when you go to a gym, you go with a certain task in mind. So, some people it's to grow muscle, some people they're preparing for competitions. Some people like me, I'm trying to cut weight right now. So like everybody kind of has their goal. And I think, quarantine came, you can't use the gym, it completely ruins your goal, but there's no reason not to take another one, something that's doable within your circumstances, or even keep the same goal, but kind of, figure out how you get there
Yeah, like
differently.
adapt. Adapt your goal.
So
into,
one thing to really stay consistent with working out, let's say it is, or even diet, I would say is keep your goal or make a new goal, and then create a program to that goal. So not just have the goal, but also
have a plan.
Like you'd have a workout program or anything. Like there's 1,000 of them online, but
Yeah.
you can find like any good ones. Definitely, that's something that helps a lot.
For sure. It's like if you have a plan, first of all, if you have a goal and then you have a plan for that goal, you know exactly what you need to do. You just got to go do it.
yeah. And that's the struggle, right? It's like, we know what we need to do. Like, we know what to eat. We know what workouts to do. I think it's just the battle of getting from point A to point B.
Are you having a hard time like getting out of your like room or house or whatever to get to wherever it is?
The hardest part is just procrastinating it, because I'm the type of person where if I'm busy, I don't procrastinate because I'm like, I don't have time. Like, I try to stay busy normally, like with school, work, my own business, whatever, like, keep busy all the time. But now with quarantine, obviously we're less busy. So I think in my head, it's more like, oh yeah, I have all day to do that. And then I wait till the last minute and then it's like dark.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So that.
You're like, I'll do it tomorrow. It's fine. I'll have a good night's sleep and I'll do it tomorrow. I think we're all going through
Yeah,
that.
it's way too relatable.
There's something that I learned from you. I think you read this somewhere, and it's a psychological thing. It's if you can only give yourself 5 seconds. So let's say you don't want to do something like make your bed, for example.
Oh yeah, you go 3, 2, 1, and you go do it.
And you just
I
go
learned
do
this.
it.
I learned this from a movie because I don't remember which movie it was, but one guy was like telling his like a younger like apprentice. He's like, "Okay, here's how you kiss a girl. You like become friends or get close, and you go 3, 2, 1, and then you go kiss her. By the end of 3, 2, 1, you're already kissing her." And I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Your brain
Wait, what
takes
movie is
time
that?
to make excuses.
know?
I don't remember. I think it
Because I
was
feel like I've seen that too.
for sure. I think they used it in like We're the Millers. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
I think they use it, but it also comes from an older movie that I can't remember which one it was. But
That's so funny.
it's a good tip for like other things too.
For everything.
You want to go to the
Literally.
like 3, 2, 1, and then you start.
Just
You
go.
just go. Yeah.
Because
the longer
sometimes if you're nervous and you procrastinate doing something like kissing someone or whatever, the more you think about it, the more you convince yourself not to do it.
for sure.
And then also the weirder you are, like the creepier you are.
Yeah.
You just go and you kiss someone, it's like this, but then you're just like staring, like you're super awkward. The other person's like, what the fuck is this person doing?
You just gotta jump in.
Kind of, yeah.
Moral of the story: just go for that kiss.
Actually, I think it was like a year ago or something. I like made a move. Like I've never kissed the guy first, but a year ago I did. Like I was the one to like make that move, and I really did get like a rush of like it was exciting for me. I was like, wow, I've never done that, but it was like it was kind of fun. I was like, I need to do this more often. Like I don't want to wait for a guy to make the move. I gotta go for it because that was exciting.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah, that's how we have all the time.
But like it wasn't bad. I thought it was gonna be weird, but it was like fun. I don't know.
Like the thrill.
Definitely. Except it's not fun when you get rejected. That's another thing.
Yeah.
She's not used to that. She's like, I don't get rejected.
Rejection.
Well,
What is that?
I'm kind of shy. Like I don't know. Always just look away. Like never make eye contact because if you do,
there you go.
they're gonna kiss
You're
you.
giving
You
us
know?
tips. Just kind of stay up distance.
One more thing I did want to mention, just while we're still on the topic of working out, is I've actually been really into running.
Okay.
And I have never really been a runner. Like I kind of used to be more into like lifting or stuff like that, and like now I basically just do like I would say like 90% of my workouts are just pure cardio, and like it's really crazy to see your body change. Running, it really makes your body like a lot of people have commented like I've lost my butt a little bit, but also my stomach's gotten flatter. So it's like, anyways, I think it's interesting to see like how much like working out and the type of workout you do like affects your body's shape. So that was interesting for me.
It's crazy how much your body can adapt to what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's more than that. I mean, if you're running, you're probably burning more calories than you generally do at the gym. And I'm assuming your diet doesn't change too much.
It makes you way less hungry. If you're lifting, you're starving.
Yeah. So you're essentially cutting kind of. So yeah, pretty much. But it's definitely different.
Michael's been running a ton recently too.
It's weird how this new lifestyle kind of affected my training.
He would always say, I hate running. I'm never going to run. And the other day he was like, yo, dude, I'm actually starting to enjoy running.
Yeah, I've actually been doing it like almost daily at this point, and I've definitely noticed a change. I don't know if I lost any of my butt, but like I've definitely a little bit flatter.
Well, turn around, show us. We'll be the judge.
I'd be bothered.
No, yeah. Do you have any tips, Michael? Like any tips or tricks?
For cardio, like
just for running?
Oh, for running? Well, I do it the first thing in the morning. I find that it's such a effective way to just like start your day by getting it out of the way. And I don't know, I've just been enjoying it more and more. The more you do it, the more like the better you get at it, and the progress is so addicting.
It totally is, because when you first start running, you're like, I think it's so painful. Like you literally feel like you're gonna die.
Yeah.
But then after, like once you get in a little bit of better shape, then it's like the endorphins and stuff.
As soon as you start, Go ahead.
I was like talking about going to die. The first time we ran with Dan, he essentially had to limp back home because he like ran too hard.
No, that was the second time. It was both times actually. I got injured in different ways. I'm very competitive. Yeah. So I let go 100%, and my body wasn't ready to go 100%.
Okay.
The first time I hurt the sole of my foot, and the second time I pulled my hamstring.
Ooh. Do you have like the proper? Because I think a big part of it is also having like the right shoes when you're running. I have
running shoes. I used to.
You have running shoes?
Yeah.
Did you stretch?
I did.
Did you hit it with the massage
the second
gun?
time I didn't stretch. Second time I didn't stretch. To be honest, we were filming I was running for a TikTok, you know? Trying to get my fame, okay?
You gotta show me that TikTok, because I think you mentioned that like when we were calling like last week or something with Noel. You were like, I pulled my hamstring for a TikTok.
Yeah, that was funny.
You ever, what kind of shoes do you have for running?
Me or Michael?
You.
Or both.
Michael, I know.
Well, actually, so my whole family's super like fit. Like my mom and my brother are like both competitive for like triathlons.
Really?
So they actually, I don't know if you guys have this in Canada, but there's this place called Fleet Feet, and I'm sure they do this at other stores, but you literally go in and they do like a scan of your foot and your stuff. And like they literally find the perfect running shoe for like your sole, like your arch, your like foot, like how wide it is and stuff like that. And they fit you like perfectly. So
the conversation went from one soul to the other. She was talking about enlightenment and soul.
Okay.
Sorry, I had
one soul to the other, exactly.
That took me a minute.
The best jokes take a little time to digest.
No, that took me a minute too, but
Okay.
So it was funny.
It's okay. My ego can take it. I'll go cry later. No, but we do have something like that. I think it's called. I forget. There is a. What is it called? Oh, the running room. So we have a few,
okay.
but I feel like it's more common there. You guys have more of everything. We
Yeah.
still need a Chipotle.
You guys don't have a Chipotle?
Michael yesterday
Canada has a Chipotle, but Quebec for some reason our
Ottawa,
province
Toronto
does not have it.
Yeah, we don't have one. And like cities that do have it, they have one at most.
Oh yeah. Honestly, like I used to be obsessed with Chipotle, like literally eating it 3 times a week, and then now I'm so, you know, when you eat something way too much and then you're just sick of it and like you literally just can't eat it ever again.
Oh my god. I can't see myself ever feeling that way for Chipotle.
No, like I was the same way. I would daydream about Chipotle, like literally, and now it sickens me.
Yeah, that's Subway for me.
Me and Mike
Yeah, Subway.
I had so much Subway at a certain point that like I just can't stand it anymore.
You want to go get Subway?
Yeah, no, Subway definitely gets old quick.
Yeah, so we don't have it here, and Dan and I drove 7 hours to go get it once. It was
Subway?
More than once.
no for Chipotle.
Are you crazy for Subway?
I was like, y'all are
I would not
sick.
do that for Subway.
We literally chose to fly from Ottawa, which is a 2.5-hour drive, instead of Montreal, just so we can get Chipotle right before.
Oh my gosh. I
Our
mean, that
decision
is
was
good.
like, can Chipotle be part of this? And if the answer is yes, then we always have to implement it.
Like reroute your whole flight.
Exactly, literally. That's what we did.
So what are the like go-to spots in Canada for food?
For what?
Or drinks? I've heard a lot about Tim Hortons.
Right.
Yes.
Importance.
If you come to Canada, you should definitely get some Tim Hortons.
Five Guys.
Kind of like a Dunkin' Donuts, but better.
Yeah, but don't even excuse you. Come on, Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons, if you're watching this, we're sorry.
They're definitely watching.
I know. Well, now that we have you on, they're definitely watching.
And
Yeah,
Chipotle.
totally.
And Chipotle, yeah. They're gonna ban you, Victoria, for what you said.
Please sponsor us.
Okay, so you have Tim Hortons. What's like the chain, like the chain restaurant that's really hyped there?
Chain restaurant?
So like we have that they don't.
It's-
That we're
Yeah.
asking, that's for us.
I mean, Five Guys is popular here, but you guys have it, so
Yeah, we have
This
that.
is American, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
Five Guys is American.
whoops.
We have La Belle Province, which is like poutine.
If it was Quebec, bro, it would be like Saint Guy. It wouldn't be Five Guys.
Yeah, that didn't hit.
Yeah, we're not too big on chains here compared to you guys.
Really?
It was worse than that.
Do you like more like local places?
Yeah, for sure. There's
No,
one
we
place.
have a lot. We just have a lot of American stuff. Like it's not. There's nothing special about it.
You guys have way better things.
Like we have this thing called McDonald's. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Never heard of it.
Never. Yeah, I know. It's just like our own little thing.
Yeah. They were thinking about bringing it to the States, though.
McDonald's?
Yeah, I heard. Rumors.
I mean, hasn't happened yet, so I'll let you know.
I feel like if it'll just get everybody fat if it does. So. maybe
Oh, we're really fit here in America, you know, never be cash. It's literally so funny because America, literally living here makes you kind of fat. Like, but it's like the simple American pleasures, you know? just eating fast food and stuff.
My favorite restaurant ever is the Cheesecake Factory. I will die for that place.
Oh yeah, I love the Cheesecake
the best thing
Factory.
ever.
Where did you go?
Toronto. Me and Mike sometimes go to
Okay.
Toronto.
He's like, you gotta try the American cheese.
Are you going for the
It
food
is
or
better.
for the
I go to
cheesecake?
one in Florida. Well, I used to.
Okay.
What are both? The starters.
So you're going for the starters?
Me and Mike did a fitness competition in June, this past June, in Texas, and we months in advance had already pre-planned what our meal was going to be right after, and it was all a cheesecake, and it was the best. We wouldn't stop talking about it.
How much was our bill?
Okay, so I want to hear a little bit more about this fitness competition.
Take it away, Mike. Go ahead. This is your forte.
Take it away. Like the discipline it takes to like eat and work out like that.
You should have seen Mike was crazy.
Yeah, my face was like,
super skinny.
yeah. So
what was like your daily meal or like food?
I mean, my intake was half of what it was, what it usually is like now. So I was eating significantly less. I wasn't really focusing on any like healthy kind of foods. It was more of just like eating less. And I lost like over 20 pounds in like 3 months. And honestly, it was brutal. Like that last month of where we had to.
I know. Well, Mike got so skinny.
Yeah, he was really skinny.
Me too.
Yeah, no, but like it got to like an unhealthy point of like skinny where it affected your moods and your.
Mike would look at me. Mike would look at me in the wrong way, and I'd yell at him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when you're hungry, you're not in a good mood.
I was so cranky.
Your energy levels, everything, like the thing, like your whole day would be affected by that diet. So like it's so. I think that's the point where you can call it unhealthy, where it's.
You also did an unhealthy cut. You did it in like.
Zach's just looking at me
like,
Yeah,
you did it. You did it in like the worst possible way. Like you just said, I'll cut calories and eat still whatever I want. You know, it's like. Well, I mean, you got your goal, which is good, but
yeah, you're right on that. There was definitely other ways of doing it, but the end result of that level of skinny was still unhealthy, no matter how you do it.
Right.
And
I feel like it's just all about. Well, I've never done it, so I'm just saying what I think. But like. I just feel like it's a lot of dedication and like self-control is the main thing, right? Because it's like even on a day-to-day basis, it's like I think we're always fighting ourselves with self-control. It's like, oh, like you want to eat the donuts and the cookies, but you're trying to tell yourself not to. So it's like almost an extreme level of that.
Before this podcast, one thing I was really interested in when Dan told me we're gonna have you is about the business side of things and your brand. So can you tell us a little bit about your brand?
Sure.